My dear friends, as we journey through this pandemic, especially within the Christian and Catholic circles, those who are within the church and also those who are outside the church generally ask a very common question. Maybe it is asked with certain amount of sarcasm and also a little bit of suspicion in them. The question is, where are these healers within the church? Where have they gone? Why can't they now come to the forefront of the battle against the coronavirus, heal those who are falling sick, and save the lives of hundreds of thousands of people who are dying away in this question of the problem of the pandemic? Now, when you take this question or this criticism on the face value of it, one can say it is because of their lack of faith. And also another can say that this kind of criticism is not going to help us. This pandemic has come in a very natural way. Of course, everything is agreed. But again, the question lies, what were they doing when they were saying that they were healing people? Or what does it mean to be involved in the healing ministry if you are a follower of Christ? Now today, in the Gospel according to Mark, we can see that Jesus, as we reflected last Sunday, he started his ministry or his public life, as Mark records it, as a battle against the evil that is in the world, especially the evil that is within individuals, the evil that is running around in the entire world. That is why the whole acknowledgement of the evil in the world is personified as a dark figure, negative figure, and we call it the Satan or the devil. Now, that is a question that is to be explored in another setting. But when you take the healing ministry of Jesus, you can see that in the Gospels today, as well as last Sunday, Jesus is basically driving away the evil spirit in men. And today it says very clearly that he was driving away the sicknesses from people, and there were hundreds of thousands of people who were coming to be healed, and healing happened. Now, what is this healing ministry that Jesus was involved in? Was he also someone who was claiming to be a healer because he wanted popularity and acceptance and also a self-proclamation of one's own power? And it is clear in the Gospels, Jesus always avoided the limelight. He walked away when people came after him. He was in the healing ministry, but it was not for his own glory. Then, how do we understand the healing ministry of Jesus, especially in the modern world today, in the 21st century, where the advancement of science and technology has taken us to different levels of interpreting the problem of human physical sicknesses? Now, in this context, it is important that we try to get to the bottom of this entire healing work that Jesus did, especially in the context of the Jewish understanding of the human body. If you ever read Jewish theology today, especially follow the writings of Rabbi Freeman, a contemporary theologian of the Jewish faith. Now, he writes and he says that in the Jewish understanding of the human body, the body is understood as only a secondary component of life. The primary component of life is our soul, the inner being of the individual, which is there from the beginning of time, and it is there in the physical life on this earth from the moment of birth to the moment of death, and also the soul goes on. And therefore he says, life can never die, and at the same time, what is dead can never have life. So therefore he says, in the Jewish belief and in their theology, the most foundational reality of human existence is one's soul. So therefore he says, if you have fullness of your soul, you can control your body. In other words, if you are a man or a woman who has filled oneself with his own soul or got in touch with that inner soulfulness, that person will naturally be a healthy person because you have taken care of your soul. So therefore your body is healed, your body is serene, your body is in complete reality of its own existence. So therefore, in order to understand the healing ministry of Jesus, you have to understand that Jesus believed in living a soulful life, and that is why Jesus went into the wilderness. He was in prayer, he was in isolation, he was always uniting himself with the Father, that is, filling his own soul with the Father, the soulfulness of the Father. And because of that soulfulness, Jesus was able to drive out the demons and also drive out the sicknesses from the human physical bodies of people. That is how the healing ministry of Jesus took place during his public ministry. Now, my dear friends, living in the modern world today, even the scientific advancement of the biological research says to us most of the sicknesses that are there in the world, which engulfs human lives, even the pandemic, is because of the lack of soulfulness within oneself from a theological perspective. Why do I say that? Because when you talk about any physical illness today, whether it is heart problems, whether it is cancer, or even diabetes and illnesses, they say, if you have too much of stress, that is, hurting your own soul, wounding your own inner self, being caught up in all kinds of stressful lifestyles, people fall into sicknesses. In other words, from a theological point of view, you have not taken care of your soul, so therefore your body is paying its price. When you get too stressed, getting involved in all kinds of hullabaloo of life and nitty-gritty issues of life, then you lose that sense of oneness of your soul, and therefore you fall sick. So the opposite of that is when you have fullness of your soul, which is in the Jewish theology the foundation of your life, which is always there from the beginning of time, an eternal journey, then you are in control of your bodily sicknesses. So healing ministry of Jesus was that he was full of his soul, living completely committed to the Father and surrendering his soul completely to God's ministry, having no house, having no money, having no family, complete surrendering of oneself for the people, and putting his own life at risk and going out there, being in the forefront of the human, social, political issues of life, and being the leader of a spiritual journey. He had authentic power of healing. Now, the answer to the question that I ask, that is being asked today about the healing persons, healing ministers in the world today, especially in terms of Christian context, we have to always ask the question. They have to themselves ask the question, am I an authentically soulful person? Am I a person who is living a soulful life? So therefore, I do have the life that is within me, which heals the sicknesses that are engulfing me, that are making me suffer. So the body is always controlled by the soul. If you have healed your soul, your body is healed. If your soul is wounded, so your body is also going to be wounded.